Good day. Today I'm going to deal with a type of question where they ask you to find, for instance, in this case, they ask you to find angle ABC. So usually students find it easy when they ask for the angle of inclination. So when they ask them to find the angle of inclination, they usually find it easy. But whenever it comes to this angle or this angle or this angle, it usually gives students problems. So let's begin. Alright, so now in this case, they ask you to find angle ABC. So they want you to find the specific angle. Well, it is not difficult. All you have to do is to find out the two lines that make this angle. So, for instance, an angle is how far two lines are stretched apart. So, two lines form an angle. So now we have to find out which two lines forms angle theta. So in this particular case, it is BC and AB. So when you have located those two lines that make the angle, all you have to do is to find the angles of inclination. So we're going to find the angle of inclination of BC, let's call it alpha. And we're also going to find the angle of inclination of AB, let's call it beta. So let's find the two angle of inclination. So to find the angle of inclination of this one, we need the gradient. We know that the formula of angle of inclination is m is equals to tan theta. So we'll have m is equals to tan theta. So now let's find the gradient. So we're gonna say the gradient formula is y2 minus y1. So it's gonna be 6 minus -4, which is the same as 6 plus 4. So we're gonna have over x2 minus x1, which is the same as 4 minus -1. So 4 minus -1 is 4 plus 1. So this is actually 4 plus 1. So equals to tan theta. So far we're going to have 6 plus 4, which is 10, divided by 4 plus 1, which is 5, equals to tan theta. So therefore it means it's going to be 2 is equals to tan theta. So let's find out what does it give us. So in order to find theta, we just have to use arctan. So we'll say arctan 2. So let's find out what does that give us. So this will give you 63.4349. My advice is not to round off this stuff. So it will give you this stuff to a certain number of decimal places. So we found the angle of inclination of this line. So now let's also find the angle of inclination of AB. So we know that m is equals to tan theta. So we're going to have m is equals to, okay, fine, we have to find the gradient as well. So let's find the gradient of this line. So we know it's going to be 2 minus -4, which is the same as 2 plus 4, divided by -2 minus -1, which is the same as -2 plus 1. This is equals to tan theta. So from here, we're going to say 2 plus 4, which is 6, and then minus 2 plus 1, which is -1. So this is -6 is equals to tan theta. And in order to find theta, we're going to have to use inverse tan. So we're going to say inverse tan -6. So let's find out what does that give us. So this is going to give you minus 80.5376. So now notice we have a negative angle. Every time we have a negative angle, so notice you don't have to round off. I actually didn't write down the other decimal places. So whenever it gives you a negative, you have to add 180. So when you add 180, let's see what that's going to give us. So this is going to give you 99.4623. So it's going to be 23, yep. And then from here, do not round off, right? So now what you're going to do is, whenever we want to find this angle, first you have to locate the two lines that make it. When you find the angle of inclination, all you have to do is to subtract the smaller one from the bigger one. So that's what we'll do. What we'll do is that we'll subtract the smaller one from the bigger one. So therefore we're going to say 99.4623 minus 63.4349. I'm just writing it in a summarized form, but please do not round off. So let's get our exact answer. When you don't round off, you'll get your exact answer. So do not round off until you have reached the final answer. So that should give you 36.0273. So when you round off these two decimal places, it's going to be 36.02. So, or rather 36.03. So we'll have 36.03. And that's what we have. So we found this angle. So this is the question that is most likely to come out. But now you have to be careful of something. When they ask you for this angle, it's done differently. So let me show you an example of that situation. Just before I continue, if you want to be tutored, whether it is online or physically, whether it is the situation where you're struggling in maths or whether it is the situation where you're good in maths but want perfection, take a screenshot or save these details. Whether you're studying Cambridge, which is the UK curriculum, or whether you're studying NSC, which is the South African curriculum, or IEB, or native courses which start from N1 to N6, or any curriculum you're doing no matter which country you're at, we offer tutorials. We've got lessons and practice sessions 5 days a week. We also give you tests once a week so that we can check your improvements. Alright, here is another example. So let's just say you're asked to find this angle. Before we proceed with finding this angle, first of all, let me show you the procedure of what you should be doing first before you find any angle. Alright, so what you'll do is, whenever you want to find an angle, you draw a horizontal line that passes through the vertex. So for instance, if I wanted to find, let's say I wanted to find this angle, if I draw a horizontal line that passes through this vertex, the horizontal line will not split this angle. So you're drawing a horizontal line to find out whether it will split the angle or not. So in this case, it will not split the angle. So whenever it doesn't split the angle, it means you find it as what we did before. You just have to find this angle of inclination and this angle of inclination and then subtract them. But now, in this particular case, if we draw a horizontal line, it will actually split the angle. So that is how it is. So whenever we want to find an angle, we have to draw a horizontal line that passes through the vertex. If it splits the angle, it means we're going to solve it differently from before. But if we have something like this, it means if we draw a horizontal line, it does not split the angle. So it doesn't split this angle. So if this was the angle we wanted to find and we draw a horizontal line, it doesn't split the angle. So it means we solve it as before. So whenever the horizontal line does not split the angle, we solve it as before. But whenever the horizontal line splits the angle, it means this time we solve it slightly different. So what is different about this is that you'll still find the angle of inclination of the two lines that make the angle. But after finding the angle of inclination of the two lines that make the angle, you will not subtract them this time. You'll add them. So whenever the line splits, it has to be an addition of two acute angles. So let's put it into practice so that you can see exactly how it works. Alright, so let's find the angle of inclination of AC. So the gradient of AC is equals to tan theta. So the gradient of AC, which is this part minus this part, so it's going to be 6 minus 2. So we're going to have 6 minus 2. So we're going to have 4 plus 2. So it's going to be 4 plus 2. And then from here, we're going to have tan theta. So tan theta. Then 4 minus 2, 6 minus 2, which is 4. And then 4 plus 2, which is 6. So this is going to be the same as 2 over 3. So this is basically 2 over 3. So we've got 2/3 equals to tan theta. So when we solve for theta, we're gonna say tan arctan 2 over 3. So let's figure out what this will give us. So we're gonna have 33.69. So again, we should not round it off. And then let's find the angle of inclination of the other line that makes the angle. So we're gonna say the gradient of AB, which is equals to tan theta. So it's gonna be the gradient of AB, so it's gonna be this part minus this part, which is the same as, so it's 2 minus -4, which is the same as 2 plus 4. Then we're gonna have -2 minus -1, which is the same as -2 plus 1. So then that is gonna be, so we're gonna have tan theta, and then this part is gonna be 6 over -2 plus 1, which is that part. So then this is gonna be tan -6. We have actually found this before. So if we say arctan -6, so arctan -6, let's see what this will give us. This is gonna be minus 80.5376. Yep, should be 5376. So dot. You will always draw a horizontal line. So if the horizontal line cuts, it means that whenever this gives you a negative, you will change it into positive. So that is why I said you have to add two acute angles. Because if we add 180, we're going to get an obtuse angle. So we have to add two acute angles. So we're going to have this part plus the other part. So this plus, this is going to be plus 33.69. So that is how it is going to be. So whenever the horizontal line cuts, you have to find the angle of inclination. And this time you won't subtract the small one from the bigger one. You will add two acute angles. So you will add them. So basically I'm just saying you add them, but make sure the other one does not give you obtuse. So when you see a negative number, you will change it into positive. So that's all you do. And that should give you 114.23. Yep, that will be the angle. So that will be the answer of this part. Just before we continue to the next example, if you're interested in knowing the prices of the tutorials, the video that contains the prices and the updated contact details just in case these ones have changed is found at the end of this video. Alright, here is the final example. So let's just say you're asked to find angle ACB. So angle ACB, which is this particular angle that is being highlighted. So you have to find out, does the horizontal line divide the angle or it doesn't? So if you draw a horizontal line that passes through the vertex, it doesn't divide the angle, meaning that this is going to be solved as normal. We have to find the angle of inclination of this line, and we have to find the angle of inclination of this line, and then we have to subtract them. So this is not the situation of two acute angles. So let's find the angle of inclination of this line. So the angle of inclination, so we're going to have the gradient of BC. So the gradient of BC is equals to tan theta. So we're going to end up having, this is going to be 6 plus 4 over, so we got it before. It was 6 plus 4, it was 6 plus 4 over 4 plus 1 equals to tan theta. And this gave us, so this gave us 2 equals to tan theta. And then when we use arctan 2, so arctan 2, so inverse. So if we use inverse tan 2, let's see what does this give us. So you get 63.4349. So you're gonna get 63.4349. Alright, let's see what does the other angle of inclination give us. So we've already solved it before. So let's find the angle of inclination of AC. So it's going to be the angle of inclination of AC, which is equals to tan theta. So we're going to have tan theta. Alright, so now we know it's going to be 6 minus 2, which is 4, over 4 plus 2, because it's 4 minus negative 2. So which is going to be 6. So this was 2 over 3. So this is going to be tan theta. And then from here, we're going to have, so when we said arctan, 2 over 3, what did we get? So it's going to be 33.69. So 33.69 dot. So now we're going to subtract them. So we're going to say this minus this. So we have to subtract, we simply have to subtract the smaller one from the bigger one. So whenever the vertical line does not separate the angles, all you have to do is to subtract the smaller one from the bigger one. But whenever it cuts the angle, it means you have to make sure that both of them are acute, and you have to add them this time instead of subtracting. So this is what we have. So let's figure out what that will give us. So I didn't write down all the decimal places. Yeah, so make sure you don't round off on the final answer. And that should give us 29.74. Yep, and that's the answer. Alright, this brings us to the end of this video. So if you enjoyed this video, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Any questions you've got or any video you want me to make, please comment below. See you in the next video.